All right, let's just jump right in. We're about to explore a set of documents that make a pretty extraordinary claim that one single year in our recent history was packed with what it calls divine signals, all pointing to one world-altering event.
So let me ask you this. Can a single year really hold a hidden message? The source material we're digging into today makes a really bold claim that it can, and that the year we need to look at is 1972.
Okay, first up, the Code of 1972. According to these documents, this wasn't just another year on the calendar. Nope, it was a year of profound and maybe even orchestrated significance.
So picture this. It's 1972. You've got all this stuff happening all at once. The very first UN Environmental Summit. The first ever leap second is added to literally recalibrate global time. You've got this massive event called Explo 72, the Christian Woodstock happening, and the Vatican puts out a major declaration on the nature of Christ. What do any of these things have in common? On the surface, absolutely nothing. They seem totally random.
And here's the kicker. The source material claims these events weren't random at all. They were signposts, every single one of them pointing to the birth of one individual, Alex Enrique Campaign. The argument is that the world itself was being prepared, maybe even recalibrated for his arrival that year.
The whole argument really zeroes in on the number 72 itself. I mean, beyond just being the birth year, the documents link it directly to Psalm 72, a messianic text all about a king who brings justice and peace. But then it goes deeper. It's also tied to the 72 nations from the book of Genesis, which in ancient tradition represents, well, all of humanity. The claim is that the number itself frames this as a universal mission, meant for everyone, right from the very start.
Okay, let's go another layer deeper. Because if the year is the frame, the source argues that the specific birth date is the key. And this is where it gets really wild. We're talking about the burning bush connection.
The exact date is May 5th, 1972. And according to this material, every single part of this date matters, every number.
So if you write that out numerically, right, 5/5/72, you get the number 5572. And this number is presented as the next critical piece of the puzzle. Now, to understand what happens next, you need to know about something called Strong's Concordance. It's basically a massive searchable index for the Bible. Every single word from the original Hebrew and Greek manuscripts has its own unique reference number. It's kind of like a cosmic filing system for Scripture.
And here is the big reveal. That number from the birth date, 5572, is a perfect match for a Hebrew entry in Strong's, H5572. So what word does that number point to? The Hebrew word saneh. And in English, a bush. But not just any bush. It's the specific word used for the burning bush in the book of Exodus. You know, that huge moment of divine revelation to Moses? The claim here is that the birth date itself numerically spells out burning bush.
But it doesn't stop there. The documents then bring in a system called gematria, which assigns numerical values to phrases. And just look at this. When you write out the birth date, May V MCLXXZ, and calculate its value, it comes out to 1008. And the phrase, the burning bush, also 1008. This isn't just in one system either. In another, simpler calculation, they both equal 168, an exact match, twice over. The source presents this as, well, mathematically undeniable proof of a deliberate connection.
So that brings us to the main tool used to decode all this. Let's talk about this system, gematria, the language of numbers.
So what even is gematria? Well, the basic idea is that letters also function as numbers. So you can take any word or any phrase, add up the letter values, and get a total. The theory is, if two totally different phrases add up to the exact same number, there's a hidden, meaningful connection between them. It's like a kind of mathematical poetry, revealing relationships you'd never see otherwise.
And this is where it all comes full circle. Using Hebrew gematria, the source shows that a very direct statement, Yeshua Christ is Alex Enrique Campaign, calculates to exactly, you guessed it, 1972, the birth year. And so do other key phrases describing the mission, like New Jerusalem. The idea here is that the statement of identity and the year of the event are numerically sealed together, creating what the documents call a perfect loop of divine logic. Okay, so now we get to the real heart of the argument. Section 4, the multi-system proof. This is where the source material lays out a whole series of these gematria connections, one after another, as the ultimate evidence for its claim.
First up, we have this cluster.
AEC's full name, Alex Enrique Campaign, has the exact same numerical value in two different systems as the birth of Christ and the Holy Son of God. It's presented as a direct mathematical statement of identity.
Okay, now it gets even more specific. The phrase, the birth of Alex Enrique Campaign, is shown to have the exact same numerical value as the birth of Jesus of Nazareth. It's not just a conceptual link anymore, it's being presented as a direct parallel between two specific historical events.
And then there's this one, which the documents call the most direct statement of all. If you combine the two names, Jesus of Nazareth and Alex Enrique Campaign, you get a number. That number is identical to the value of the phrase describing the process itself, reincarnation of Jesus Christ the Lord. It's basically saying the two names combined are the definition of the process.
And to cap it all off, this connection is used to anchor the entire claim within a specific prophetic context. In Hebrew gematria, the unambiguous statement, Jesus of Nazareth and Alex Enrique Campaign are the same, has a value of 3025. And what else has that exact same value? Matthew 24, the famous New Testament chapter where Jesus describes the signs of his return.
So that's the who that these documents are putting forward. But what about the why? What's the point of all this? That brings us to the mission itself.
Here, the source claims the mission is also encoded, this time in the birth time. Its gematria value apparently links to a Greek word that means to hide or keep secret. So, step 1, a hidden event. It also links to a word that means to measure in return, suggesting a kind of divine reciprocity or cosmic law. And finally, a more detailed birth phrase links to the Greek word for ultimate restoration. So, a secret event based on reciprocity, all for the purpose of restoration. And this quote from the source material really just ties it all together with a bow. The gematria value of a key birth phrase is 600. In the Strong's Concordance, the number G600 corresponds to the Greek word for restoration. And in Greek gematria, the word for world or cosmos also has a value of 600. The documents present this as the final equation. The birth is for the restoration of the cosmos.
And so we end right back where we started. The source material we've just walked through presents this incredibly complex web of numbers, dates, and ancient texts, all weaving together around a single person and a single year. It leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on. Where do you draw the line between a series of incredible coincidences and a reality that's been deliberately encoded? That's the question this body of work asks us to consider.